You are listening to the Backline podcast.
I'm Trey. This is Tristan. And you're listening to the Backline podcast. So this is episode 10 of our Backline podcast. And it's, I think, episode 3 or 4 of our Discography series where we dive into each Mile 134 release. We talk about the song meanings. We talk about the process of recording, the writing, the lyrics, instrumentation, all that jazz. So we won't get too in-depth with it on this stream. I mean, we will cover a lot, but we're not going to get too in-depth. And here is my Substack plug. You can go on our Substack, and we break each of these songs down. Well, I suppose I better talk about what we're going to talk about. So episode 10 of the Discography series, episode 10 of the Backline podcast of the Discography series is reviewing The Hour Chapter 1, which is my personal favorite for a release. I hate playing both songs. Love, like, not listening to them, but love talking about them, and that is probably my proudest work. I hate playing them. We don't even play The Hour anymore.
Yeah, they're tricky.
Yeah, but so anyways, going back, so what we're going to do is dive in and review the songs and the whole process in general.
Yeah.
Going back to my Substack plug, we broke both of these songs down very in depth in one of our Substack readings on our story, and then we also did a recap of them in kind of the story of Mile 134 on how those songs kind of came to be. So go check them out on our Substack under our story. You'll see them there. So anyways, like I said, The Hour Chapter 1, one of my favorite releases. We still play Dead to Me all the time.
Yeah.
The Hour has been shelved just because we don't play in that low
That drop A
anymore.
on that baritone.
Yeah, that was a baritone.
Well, it's also a pain in the ass to bring an extra guitar for one song or two songs. It's like, yeah.
Can't justify it. We used to be able to justify it when we were playing live Apoplectic, The Hour, and then Josh for Dissociate.
Yeah.
But then now we hardly do any of those songs. So it's like,
why?
fuck it.
Yeah, why?
So.
No, fair. Well, yeah, I mean, what's weird about that album is I don't remember a lot of like the recording process.
Dude, you're saying that? It like bothered me this morning because I was trying to think of what we did, and I can't remember any of it.
I mean, I remember going there with like a mission. Like we were like, all right, what was it? The fucking, what's his name? Dustin, the studio engineer. We were like,
Blast
all right,
House.
Yeah, we've got a goal here, and I think we had done a demo at some point.
Yeah.
But no, we just got in there, set up. I think we did your guitars for The Hour first, and then did we do Dead to Me the same time? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was all just pretty fucking quick. Like that was an efficient use of time.
That was, but by that time we were a little bit seasoned.
Yeah. I mean, those songs were hashed out. There was nothing to change in the studio for those. It was like, all right, this is what we're doing.
No, like, if I remember, the only thing we added studio-wise, and it came to us like that, were the bells on the intro of The Hour, the reverse bells, and then the on the guitar. Just add it to the list of things that will never exist. Through that.
Yeah, it's like we need a lead here, and then that was
that was freaking it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Oh, and then when the hour arrives.
Oh,
the low.
There's a low part there.
Yeah, if you go back and listen. So that struck me. I remember sitting in there listening to the song. We thought we were done. And I remember going in, and I'm like, we got to do this. And Dustin's like, what? I'm like, can you take that and drop it down? And he didn't understand what I was saying. So I showed him the song we were trying to emulate, and he's like, oh, yeah. So we took that idea off of one of my favorite bands of all time, and probably one of my top 5 favorite albums of all time, Dirt by Alice in Chains, off of their song Sick Man.
Yeah.
If you listen to like the part where it gets slow and nasty, Lane is singing, and then there's a demonic low octave voice like echoing him.
Yeah.
So that's what we kind of did there. And that was cool.
Yeah, no, it worked out. And that song refined itself. Like that was it was done, and we had, the whole song done. That was, yeah, like I said earlier, an efficient use of time. That was just so quick. Like there was no hitches. We didn't get stuck. Like I remember in some of the previous albums, we just ended up like with some time where we were just stuck. And that's the most expensive time in the studio, is when you're sitting there with nothing to do. It's like,
Dude, so we'll talk about the hour, because that's the one I remember
yeah.
most prevalent. Dead to Me, I don't fucking remember at all. But
I think the hardest part to Dead to Me for me was doing the chorus, because that one.
we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Because I do want to talk about
Yeah.
Dead to Me. But the hour, I just remember it was that freaking main riff that was originally written, the
Yeah.
and then we went from there and like reverse engineered it.
Yeah.
Then we did the intro, and then we did the rest of the song. And I don't know, dude, I don't know how we came up with that breakdown, because it's like a tasty,
it's
smooth breakdown. And again, going back to your point in the studio, I think that went fine.
Yeah.
I don't even remember doing the breakdown, so that must have meant it went okay.
Yeah. Now I remember sitting on the couch when you were doing it. Or no, you were on the couch, I think.
Yeah,
but
I don't remember.
Yeah, no, that was quick and easy. There's like a couch in the studio area where when we record guitars, so you're just in there. But yeah, no, that was that. I mean, that's probably a good thing. Like
I just can't believe how
weird.
smooth that song went.
Yeah.
And then, well, the breakdown and then the octave build up into the end. Yeah, I don't remember. But anyways, that song is very Slipknot-y influenced.
Yeah.
I mean, that riff right off the bat.
But it's good. I mean, it's a good, like,
it moves.
From an outside perspective, like, I think that's still a decent song. Just as is. Like,
so right back to what I said, I don't play that live. I don't want to work that hard.
it's tricky live, because there's a lot of, it's less tricky for me, but I know you're really working over there. Like,
just the vocals and the guitars are a lot, and we do what we always do, and we tend to speed shit up even more.
Yeah, especially if like you start with that song, because it's a good song to start with. If you're doing like a 5-song set, like starting with the hour is like a really good,
or ending with it.
Yeah, it's a fucking fiery song right out the gate. Or yeah, it's a good one to end with, because like, all right, we're gonna end with the hour, and it's got that breakdown, and then it just ends, right?
Yeah.
It's got like the
it's very it goes to that halftime.
Yeah.
So yeah, the hour was smooth as shit.
Yep.
I don't know how, because it's a complex song.
Yeah.
I mean, so if you go back through our writings on Substack, I talk about how these are complex songs, but they're built off of simple ideas. Like I just said,
Yeah.
It started with a that was the riff, and then we just went from there.
And then
go ahead.
Yeah, I think sometimes we get lost in trying to change up riffs for the sake of doing it, but that's a whole nother discussion for sure. But that song just kind of stuck to the root of what it was, and
it kept coming back to it.
I mean, that's kind of what made it a song, I guess.
Yeah, and all we did with that chorus was take the frickin' and just go the same chords or the same notes. So yeah, super smooth song. Don't remember recording it, which, like Tristan said, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Now, Dead to Me, on the other hand, I don't remember a damn thing about.
Did we
that.
even write that song?
Is
that ours?
Or J-Lo.
Was that an industry plan?
J-Lo.
J-Lo wrote that song.
So in the Substack, I talk about how we got inspired by inspiration from J-Lo. And you'll have to go back and read our Substack on how. But it was the main riff that that's all I remember writing to the song. Like dun 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 dun.
I remember you were fighting to write a chorus riff for a while.
You know what? Yeah, I was.
But not at the studio. That was like the pre-studio process. You were like, I can't figure out a chorus. And you were like, is this okay? And we were just like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, and I still don't like it to this day. It just works. I don't know.
I mean, it's all right. Like, it's not. I think it's one of those riffs that's just like very major. Like it doesn't have a lot of tension to it, There's, but what's weird for me is I'll never write a drum beat like that ever again. The chorus, dun 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 dun.
Well, that's what. Yeah, it's a very upbeat.
Yeah, it's
chorus.
Upbeat. Yeah,
it is. Even the stupid chorus riff. That's
what I'm saying. Like you could write a pretty groovy EDM song with that. I think like you could really funk that up, but. No, it's weird, but it's good. I mean, for an outside perspective, I think it sounds
Well-
okay. I think it's a little bit more of a like from outside looking in. Dead to Me is much more of a like toneless beatdown song than The Hour. Like The Hour has a lot of tension, right?
Yeah, it does.
Dead to Me has tension, but the tension is mostly in the vocals and what notes you're choosing for your singing
Yeah.
vocals.
I agree.
And then the breakdown is nuts, right? The breakdown is
yeah.
like I don't know where that came from, but yeah,
I feel like Dead to Me is a vanilla song compared to The Hour, but not because of the structure and the riffs, but exactly like you're saying, it's like the intensity.
yeah,
It's just The Hour right off the bat. You're like, whoa,
yeah.
And
It's
then
got
the
some tension,
growls.
like thematic tension.
Yes.
right. I think Dead to Me definitely pounds more live. Like
Oh, I
playing
love
that live is hysterical because like yeah, I'm back there hitting shit fucking hard and
Well, and again, it's one of those things that if you're a listener and appreciate, simple music,
yeah,
when you hear, because I kick off the song when you hear dung 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 dung, that's
ding,
gonna be
and then the
like
drums kick in.
you're
right?
gonna be like, oh fucking K.
okay, yeah,
Here
they're
we
going
go.
for it.
Yeah, it's a very not catchy, but very prominent, simple fucking riff.
Yeah, it's just kickstart and go. It's
Yeah.
just kind of it's a riff that gets stuck in your head
Right.
because it's just it's a catchy
It just
rhythm.
drives.
Yeah.
It just
Yep.
freaking drives.
No,
So,
for sure.
Yeah, Dead to Me. I remember writing that riff and then struggling with the chorus, but the only other thing I remember is the lyrics, writing the lyrics.
Yeah.
And then that little build up pre-chorus that you can find.
Yeah, and those were-
them.
Like interesting notes to pick. Like that's where all the tension comes from in a lot of that. Cause like those notes are like dum 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 dum. Right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
all.
yeah.
Then that's just major. Like there's not like dum dum. I think there's some tension in that second note.
Yeah, there is.
But like the singing notes you do are like dun 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 dun, and those are still in that scale where there's more tension there. And I think that's interesting because we didn't do that intentionally. Really,
No.
it's just like I'm saying this like as if we did it intentionally, but it's not at
We
all.
just wrote it.
Yeah.
And, looking back now to kind of talk about what you're saying, it's cool because the intro hits you, right? With the
Yeah.
riff and the drums coming in. Then my singing comes in pretty monotone.
Yep.
But then we hit that first ting,
Yeah.
why? And the vocals go up and it's
Yeah.
like there's the intensity up. So
Yeah.
it's almost like there is a catch to keep somebody listening. Like just as they might be
Yeah.
losing interest, boom.
Yeah, and that's
Boom.
what's fun too. Like it's fun to write those like not necessarily intentionally
Yeah,
like that,
We didn't.
but it's weird to talk about it like this. I feel like I'm blowing smoke up my own ass.
No,
but,
no. It's cool to look back on.
Yeah.
I mean,
A lot of it is like, I feel like we wrote those songs maybe with like, it was at a time when we didn't have as much musical understanding, but it's interesting to come back to it and be like, oh yeah, like that's why that was that way.
yeah, we
But-
were we were literally writing for the fun of writing.
Yeah.
And there was no deadlines, nothing. It wasn't as intense as it is right now with music.
Right.
Not
It's
saying that anything has changed. We've got so many other outlets and
Yeah.
stuff going on with music.
There's a lot more logic to it. Right.
Yeah.
And when it comes to writing, I think we understand like thematic tension a little bit better now.
Yeah.
So it's like whether we're throwing out riffs or bringing in ones, it's like we understand how it sounds to listen to the music versus,
And our influences are different. And
yeah,
life,
we're
life
growing
happens.
people.
I mean,
yeah,
this shit was released in 2018.
Yeah.
It's 2024 already.
yeah. I was
so.
fucking 18 when
Yeah.
we released that.
So yeah, no, Dead to Me was man, that was a fun one. That was played on the beater guitar, and I remember that. Dead to Me was on the beater guitar with a Mesa Boogie triple rec. And so The Hour was the baritone, Ibanez baritone through the triple rec, but that was one album that Dustin had reached out to me on and because somebody asked him what I use for tone.
Oh yeah,
And I'm like, dude, $100 drop B guitar with some aftermarket pickups and then the baritone.
yeah,
So it's just
It works.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just funny.
yeah.
So,
A lot of people chase like this is a different like topic, but a lot of people chase like tone. And I mean, you put a lot of time into your tone and whatnot.
I did for a long time.
But I think people don't realize that like you can't buy tone. You have to work for it. You have to
Yeah, exactly.
like you took a pawn shop guitar and threw a better pickup in it, obviously, which is like step one for buying a cheap guitar. Is
For sure.
buying a nice pickup. But beyond that, it's like you got to work at that shit. And I remember you put a lot of time into finding your tone.
You
so,
just gotta you gotta know what you're after.
Yeah.
And it made it kind of easy for us because it's like we're a 2-piece, so
You're looking for
all this,
punch.
yeah, you need punch. And then we just went and sought it out. And yeah, I spent time dialing in amps and guitars.
Yeah.
But you know, we targeted a cab, and
Yeah.
we got one
Yeah,
that's
I mean, it's-
loaded for drop tuning. And you know, I did a lot of research on. I'm now up to a Bogner Uberschall, which is like the growliest amp
Yeah.
that I could find.
Yeah, and it pushes a lot of
Yeah.
like movement in those
And,
speakers.
and you
like,
know, we not to get off topic, but
Yeah.
at one of our last shows, we were getting comments on our pedal board, and my pedal board is like 7 pedals.
yeah,
But they're like, that's a tasty setup. I'm like, well, again, back to what you said. We've thought it out. What do we need?
yeah,
And what is excess? Because as a 2-piece, there's a very fine line.
yeah. You find it
can't-
out.
You can't be too fucking fancy.
No,
And you gotta be somewhat simple, and you gotta have you gotta have a targeted destination when it
Yeah.
comes to tone.
no,
in a sense.
absolutely. And I think on the topic of like gear, I think as a 2-piece, you learn very quickly what you need and don't need.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you're playing like a
Look at your
4-piece
kit.
band, yeah, no, absolutely. It's constantly getting smaller. I'm tired of carrying that much stuff
Well,
around.
and you put a lot of time into finding the heads that we're working and all
Yeah.
that shit. So it's
No, I mean that's just like a lot of that is just finding out what cymbals I need, which is again for a 2-piece you need a lot of wash, right?
Yep.
You need wash, and then I needed thud, which is why I got those things that I got. This is a whole other topic. This is completely off topic, but
not necessarily. Not necessarily.
but I mean that was I guess the hour was kind of around the time when we were refining that, right?
Oh, yeah.
It was like
Micromanager was like our introduction to a 2-piece.
yeah,
Okay, let's roll with it, see
Yep.
what happens. And then we had some time. Micromanager was 2017.
Yep.
But we had some time to kind of refine and
I mean, and you learn just as a 2-piece, like we don't have 4 hands. Well, we have 4 hands. We don't have 4 people here to like help move gear around. So like, you know, it's getting your guitar stuff on stage so you can set it up, and then it's me setting up my drums, like which takes the most amount of time, right?
yeah.
So if you have just a fuck ton of gear, you don't have time for all that shit. You
No.
know, like, I mean, even now, like we still split your signal between the guitar and the bass, but we don't bring the cab, which a fucking awesome cab, but we don't bring it because it's easier to run it through the PA.
DI it,
Yeah, and
yeah.
it's just smaller then, right? And with all your pedals, I'm sure you don't want to fucking tap dance every time. So we kept our
No.
songs simple too. So I mean, that's what the hour is simple. You don't even use the whammy in the hour chapter, I don't think.
I use the whammy in it, yeah.
What
For
part?
the build up. Wow.
Oh, the chorus. Yeah. Okay. Or not the chorus,
So-
the chorus effect.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
No, yeah, I digress. Sorry.
no, all good. So that's the basis of that. But the other thing that I think makes it my personal favorite is we co-wrote both of those songs.
Yeah.
Prior to that, it was a lot of me writing, bringing Tristan ideas, and you get stuck in a rut, you know, and shit starts to sound the same. So
Yeah.
I think that's probably why this sounded so different and so much better was we collab, threw out ideas,
Yeah.
and then co-wrote it together and made sure it flowed together instead of we're gonna make this work in the studio.
Just
or
make
whatever.
this work. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, right.
And
That
the
was-
other cool thing, go ahead.
No, I was definitely part of it. Like, you know, I think that's also why those songs are so percussive too, is because like as
Oh,
a
yeah.
2-piece, you know, I'm 50% of that. And so your guitars or I'm drumming alongside your stuff. So I have to kind of hit where normally a bass guitar would be hitting. So it's like we're both kind of meeting in the middle there, you know, without any bass. It's now just, you know, drums and guitar. So I'm like, you know, punctuating every single strum you're doing, and you're trying to line up with that, and that's why the rhythms are the way they are.
And again,
There's logic to it.
No, absolutely. You know, there are definitely ways we could have spiced up each song, but you know what? We got to keep it a little primal.
All right. I mean, that's just the way it is. Like,
That's how it's got to be.
yeah,
you know?
like if you listen to other songs where they have more pieces, you'll hear where the drums will kind of stray a little bit further from the guitars.
yeah, we can't.
And the bass will be in the middle of that, you know, following the kick drum, but following the notes for the guitar. But since we're in the middle, We have to meet in the middle. That's no longer there. That we're a lot tighter, like in instrumentation. Like, anyways.
Yeah, no, it's a very percussive double single. So
Yeah,
that's what we started conning the hour as, because it's not a single and it's not enough to be an EP
right. It's a double.
to people's standards. So that is actually the title of the one Substack writing is quote double single.
Double single.
Because we were getting shit for not writing full albums and also releasing singles and EPs all the time. So we put it's dubbed the double single. So the other thing that I like about this album is we did, I mean, everything other than the studio time and obviously producing the CDs was DIY. The artwork, some of my favorite, but it was literally Tristan and I running around with the camera.
Going nuts with filters.
And taking pictures in a clown mask and where we used to live.
Yeah.
In the Pines. In the Pines.
I was just about to say it.
In the Pines. But yeah, so that's what that is. It actually ended up, I've got the tattoo silhouette of Tristan on the album cover, on the double single cover on the back of my arm. So it's, yeah, I liked artwork in that too.
Yeah. All DIY that shit was.
Yeah.
That's just kind of fun about it, though, is just kind of throwing something together.
You know, writing the music is obviously fun, but it's also fun creating the piece of here world.
Yeah.
Here it is.
No,
you know
right.
I mean? That's the fun part.
What's
it's yours.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, like, it's really weird. Like, at that time, I'm sure we struggle with it too, but like, I think now after being exposed to so much kind of music, it's hard to play something that is so genred. You know what I mean? Like, we run into this when we're writing. It's hard to like genre a music, or like when you're writing something, you have to like stick to certain themes and whatnot, but it's hard to create your own theme. And this is a whole nother topic. I'll actually steer away from that. But I know we run into that when we're writing music. Like, I remember when we were writing this stuff, we were just like, fuck it. We're just, doing our own thing.
There was no tunnels. It was
just, we're doing this. This is the music we're writing. But I know now we're like, hey, does this make sense here? And it's like,
we overthink it a little much.
No, for sure. There's definitely an amount of like, what's that word for somebody who doesn't care about anybody else's opinions? Like stuck up, or there's a word for it. I'm not thinking of it, but you have to believe in your own stuff.
Yeah. You always have to, because, dude, I mean, if you go back, we got a terrible review of our Micromanager EP,
Conviction.
And you had to, I was pissed at the time. Not that it was anything great, but this dude just trashed it. And, you get mixes. We had people who fucking loved it and still to this day love Micromanager. And then you had this dude who just shit all over it. But his opinion never mattered.
No.
But the review got back to us, and I was hot as hell, and Tristan's like, who cares?
Yeah.
So you got to love what you do, because I can't,
It's your art,
It's your
like,
art. You're not going to, there's bands that I could care less for that people fucking love, and I'm like,
it's not
to each their own.
Yeah, it's not a math test. There's no right or wrong answer.
No.
It's your art.
But anyways, so when people ask, what do you sound like? Who is Mile 134? Blah blah blah. I direct them at this.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell people. I'm just like, how do
I direct them at the hour.
Yeah.
Chapter
Oh,
1.
you're saying this album. Yeah.
I direct them at this double single. I'm like, just listen
to
both,
that,
because right away both of them hook you in different ways.
Yeah. They're
so-
different enough to show like a good two separate genres. And yeah.
And Dead to Me is our uncle's favorite song still to this day.
Yeah.
And he is the hardest fucking critic.
Yeah, he's
ever.
a critic.
But he loves Dead to Me just because it's simple and keeps going. So yeah, that was that I just show them, because I show people this EP because it, to me, when people ask what we are, I'm like, I don't know how to. So
how do I tell you that?
Yeah, we've been called hard rock, metal, groove metal. We got called groove metal in one of our reviews of the hour, which I took, to me,
that's fine.
Groove metal, hell yeah, that's like Pantera.
Oh, yeah.
Shit you can just get the stank face to.
It's a headbanger. Yeah, absolutely.
So we got called groove metal, and then we get called like 90s metal.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't care, but I just tell people, I'm like, we are metal / hard rock with substance.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
No, right.
Because to me, both of these songs have that substance because they have a tastefulness. Like, I think our music always means something when we write it.
Yeah.
And these lyrics, this EP, double single, sorry. It was and I talk about it in our Substack writings. It was dark stuff. I mean, if you listen to the lyrics, but you can tell that we mean what we're playing and saying. So we're always connected to our music, and there's always a melody. We always try to have a melody in there.
It can't just, I mean, that's another genre entirely, but I don't want it to be just toneless. You know, it's gotta have intention and some sort of meaning behind it. Like,
so to me, that's what metal with substance is. It's tasty.
Substance. Yep.
Yeah. It's not just metal to be fucking heavy or to be fucking obnoxious.
Right.
Because we're not that.
No, that doesn't appeal. Like,
no.
Especially not performing it. Like, I don't know.
No,
to each their own, for sure. But like,
for sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not my thing.
No.
But yeah, I don't know what we consider ourselves. So I just point people to this and I'm like, and then you go back and listen to our Sinner album and it's still some people's fucking favorite.
Yeah.
It's like, that's like total 90s alt rock.
Yeah, it's way different than what we do now.
But that's the cool thing about music is evolution, man.
Yeah.
You're free to do whatever. There's no fucking rules.
No, right. And it's cool to kind of have that like snapshot of where we were too. It's
it is.
It's neat.
And I'm just going to say this again, but Substack, I talk exactly about that. I talk about how, going back is kind of cringy, but it's a snapshot in time where you were at. So it's like, is it really cringy or is it just documenting your feelings, thoughts, emotions, musicianship, all that shit?
Yeah.
We write from a personal place. We don't write stupid shit. There are a couple songs that were half-ass stupid. 218, dirt bike, shit like that. But they always have a meaning behind them. And it's like, that was a stamp in time, move on. You get it out of you move on.
It's only cringy out of context. But in context, it's, we were young in our time as a musician. Like, in context, it's just like, oh, yeah, that's just the way it was. Listen to this. Isn't it goofy? But like, out of context, it's just like, we've come a long way since then. So it's hard to compare like where we are now to that and say like, this is our best stuff when it's
not even close.
Different. We would do something different now. But yeah.
But yeah, and Dead to Me was a song that it was the first song to get radio play.
Yeah.
Multiple times. And then it actually got us into, I talk about in the Substack, just saying you just want to subscribe to Substack. But I talk about it in our writings too. It got us into Summerfest.
Yeah.
Was Dead to Me. We played a battle of the bands.
Yeah, we were
playing against these like Motley Crue cover bands, and they were good at what they were doing. I dislike Motley Crue so much, but they were good at what they were doing.
Yep.
And a bunch of other cover bands, couple original bands, couple of pop bands. I mean, it was just a mix.
Yeah.
And we go up and play Sick One off Sinner, and then we end on Dead to Me.
Yep.
And people are like, holy shit. And then we were one of the ones picked to go play Summerfest 2018.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
That's funny. I just remember the instruments we had to use were not suited for us.
God.
I was using like a jazz kit, and you were using, I think, your guitar, but the cab was not.
It was some Marshall solid state. I can't remember if it was a combo amp or a half stack, but she was cringe.
Yeah, it was a twangy little amp. It was not pushing the sound that we needed it to. I just remember on Dead to Me, those toms, man. Like, I'm using low tune toms, those are like boom, but those toms were like fucking jazz toms, which need to have tones. So like, din dun.
I remember that. Sounded like we're at some island resort back there.
Dun 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 dun. Pop. It's just fucking.
But we made her work.
Yeah,
man.
it worked.
Conviction.
Yeah,
because people are like, man, you guys
were like,
look
we
you're
get
having
it.
Fun.
Yeah,
we are.
We get it. I remember the kick was a boomy kick too.
Oh man, you couldn't.
Dum dum dum.
It was like one of them timpanis.
Yeah, basically, it's a jazz kick, man. They let them ring, and it's weird. Don't do that. If you're a jazz player out there, don't let your fucking kick ring.
Don't do jazz,
you idiot.
kids.
You absolute silly man.
So yeah, no, we're on Spotify. You can check everything out there. But yeah, and like I said, we've beat this horse on Substack, and that's why I'm kind of pimping it out, is because we have 2 writings worth of talking about these releases, and then our paid subscribers have a little extra. I think they have our Summerfest announcement that you actually recorded. I threw on there.
Oh,
So they get to hear the actual announcement and what they thought of us.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it was
right.
cool.
I did have that on. I had them on my phone.
Yeah.
Ah.
And then stuff like that. So Substack's cool, and that's where this podcast is hosted, is on Substack, because it's pretty sweet. It distributes it to your major platforms, and we just do the podcast for fun. We're not in it for.
Yeah, it's just fun to put
It's
out
just
there.
fun to put out
It's kind
there.
of a historical thing too, or
Yeah.
what do you call that? Like
It's just another outlet.
blog.
Yeah. It's essentially our podcast is a blog and
Yeah.
just like a recap of what we've experienced. I mean, I talk about it on the Substack.
Yeah.
So
No, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, to summarize, I mean, like the hour was a pretty quick recording. The release was planned. Did we do a release party for the hour? I don't remember.
damn, what did we do?
That wasn't Micromanager was at the bowling alley.
Yep.
What did we do for the hour? Was that at Jason's? No.
No, that was Sinner. Because we did 2 for Sinner. We did Jason's and then the bowling alley.
What did we do for the hour? It wasn't
Damn.
Janesville.
Yeah, it was.
But it wasn't our
It wasn't
release
for
party.
us.
It
We
was,
just-
did
we
we
were-
put Left of Reason? Is that right?
I thought it was Caroline Spine. I think
it wasn't that show, was
I think it was.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
No way
And
it
then
was
we
that
just
show.
we had the CDs just arrived. That was the physical CDs. I don't know how we released it.
Maybe it was a digital release, and then we got the CDs.
We did the digital release because I remember making flyers for it, and then we did hang them up. And then the CDs came at the time of the Caroline Spine show when we opened for them down in Janesville. I remember that. So, yeah, that was, man, was that 6 years ago? 2018?
Yeah.
4. But still one of my favorites. I don't know. I think what we got brewing now is good. We've got more songs in the works, and I think it's it's going to be another tasty release because they're not all similar.
No, and I think that, like,
And that's why I like the hour. You know, it's like you said, just that they're similar in depth and heaviness and lyrical content, but the atmospheres are different.
Right.
And the vibes are different. Because it's like Dead to Me, anybody can listen to.
you can feel it.
It's not abrasive where you
No.
go to the hour and it gets a little
Yeah, it starts off on like
gnarly.
a gnarly tone. It's a little dark, but like, yeah, Dead to Me is very much like I don't know. Just I feel like Grandpa would headbang to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I really do think it's anybody can listen to Dead to Me.
Yeah.
I
At least
really think
Bobby
that
would do
because
it.
there's nothing abrasive about it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple of guttural screams in there, but it's not like
No, it's a pretty honest song. Like it's
Yeah.
not trying to hide anything.
no.
And I think, speaking of that, with these new releases, I think you'll find that a lot of them are pretty honest as well, because we're doing it ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing to hide in there.
So little teaser there. We're in the process of doing new music. We've got one pretty much fully done.
Yeah.
We're just on the final touches of it, and we've got probably 3 or 4 more roughly demoed. Like throw a mic out and record.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing a solo project on the side, couple recorded. So not to get off track, but we've got some stuff coming.
Yeah, stuff in the works.
Hopefully full length album this time, not a double single. Maybe we should bring the double single back.
I should make that our
People
thing.
keep asking when the Hour Chapter 2 is coming.
God damn it.
I did get asked that right away.
Well, then they're going to ask for chapter 3, and it's going to turn into fucking Jaws.
I thought it would be cool to like take the same kind of artwork that the Hour has and
Yep.
just kind of
Fuck it up.
color it different, and then call it the Hour, the final chapter. But how do you go from chapter 1 to the final chapter?
By writing it.
By just saying fuck it.
You could do just like, I don't know, the hour, but not give it a chapter number. Just give it just like a name.
I kind of think that would be cool to bring back.
Yeah,
But
you'd have to play your baritone. Sorry.
No, I mean the that aspect.
Yeah.
But would it be cool or not? Because I don't know.
Are we cool enough to do that?
No.
I mean, we could. I think that if you pulled out the baritone and just like listened to the hour on repeat 60 times, you could probably come up with something similar.
No.
That's your
Nope. There's a lot of baritone riffs right now that
Yeah.
I don't even. So the baritone is good for like 2 riffs, and then they all start to sound the same, and it's like it's so colorless after a while. It's
Stained wants a word with you.
Yeah, Stained.
But yeah, no, I know it's hard to play. Like I've tried to play that guitar. The problem is
man,
like
the action.
yeah, it needs that though, because
does.
the thing about this is like totally off topic, but the baritone, like it's a long scale, so
like
it's really high
27
tension.
inches.
Yeah, but what you run into is like it needs tension, right, and it needs a higher action because otherwise the strings vibrate and they buzz. So like me being like an amateur like garage guitar player, I'll play it and I'm like this hurts. Like, what's wrong with this?
It's like playing an acoustic with a high action.
Yeah, exactly.
It is.
It's harder. I genuinely think it's harder because
It's tough.
the strings also are spread out. Like the nut is wide too. It's like a wide.
And then how I have mine set up, the further down, it's got a little bow in the neck.
Yeah.
So the further down you get on the fretboard, so when I'm doing the leads to the hour, that
a little
it's
sharp.
It's like you got to make sure you really hit them. But
you gotta practice guitar.
It is. It's a great guitar. It sounds meaty as heck.
Yeah.
And it's actually one of the Ibanez RGs, the iron labels, the baritones before they took the freaking kill switch away. Why would you take that off?
I don't know.
The new models don't have it.
That's dumb.
It's stupid.
You know how easy that is to wire up to?
Yeah.
Like for them, that's dumb.
Oh, so it is my most expensive guitar I've ever bought. Unfortunately, it doesn't get used as much as it did.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the good series where it's got the kill switch. It is a toggle switch, which sucks. It's not a button, but I'm sure I could change that out. I don't play it enough to do that.
No.
That was the other thing with the hour. If you listen closely in the choruses, there's a little 2-note lick at the end or 3-note, and it's got like this Armageddon fluttering sound. It's like oh boy, you don't even remember it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Slay
in the
my
choruses.
dreams, seeking a fairy tale. Life's a bitch.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah.
And so I did this cool flutter in the studio, and then after we recorded it in studio, it got sent to Justin Perkins out of Mystery Room Mastering in Milwaukee, and he knew the exact vibe we were going for because it came back and it's like this
Yeah, it worked
and it's
out.
like some Star Wars, what's that freaking like TIE fighter X bomber flying over sound. It just sounds gnarly.
Yeah.
So yeah, the kill switch came in handy there.
Yeah.
And on the beater guitar that we do Dead to Me on, it's a poor man's kill switch. I just take the volume.
There's no neck pickup on that one.
Yeah, there's no neck pickup. I left that thing stock because it's ass. And I've got an invader in the bridge, so that's my kill switch there.
Yeah.
So essentially the same thing. But yeah, no, it was a good release. It's cool to reflect back on. Yeah, and then everything since then has been a single.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's fair. It's I don't know. We got really busy like after that. Like our show schedule, and specifically after the hour changed. Like our attitude as a band was very show heavy. So I know
it
that's
was
definitely
crazy.
slowed down writing. Like
yeah,
historically. And life shit, of course. But
yeah.
no, yeah. That was a good release. I think that's one of the ones I'm really proud of. I'm proud of all the music we write, but
Yeah.
like that one, I'm just like, yeah, I guess what you're saying, it's like, that's where you should direct somebody if you're asking about what my 134 is. And
So on our Spotify, that is the one I have pinned because you can do your artist pick
Yeah.
for your own stuff. and I've got the Hour Chapter 1.
Guess what? Sinner still gets the most plays.
Dude. Sinner, but Decline took over this year.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Slammy. But anyways, yeah, that's the Hour Chapter 1. Like I said, I really encourage you guys, if this was cool for you, I really encourage you to go to our Substack and listen to or read. One of them is called our double single, and then one of them is, I think it's just called the Hour Chapter 1, A Realization of Darkness, something like that. Because, again, there's deeper meaning behind the songs. They're dark songs, both of them. Again, the hour is a little darker. We talked about that. That's the reason for the intensity being there. So go check it out because I'm looking at it right now because I printed them out because I wanted to use them as a reference. But we've got a whole page talking about the songs on our Substack, breaking each of them down, and then kind of the overall, what we kind of talked about tonight on the double single Substack reading. So Substack's been a cool outlet, and it's been cool for not only the newsletters, but the exclusive content that we can provide, and then the podcast. I mean, it's hosting our podcast. So the Backline podcast, that's its home, and it just distributes it to Apple Podcasts and Podbean and everywhere else. But we direct everybody at the Substack for that reason because we like when people go there. It is so friendly.
Yeah.
Like the app is so I can do it. I mean, I set up the Substack and I pretty much, I run the Substack. Tristan helps me, but I'm kind of managing it and looking at the stats and all that. And it is so user friendly.
Yeah, no, for sure.
If I can do it, you can do it.
It's a nice little platform, that's for sure. And that's where we go in depth on stuff. Like, that's where it's all written down.
That's kind of like our blog is Substack.
Yeah,
it really is. I mean,
it's like a chronicle.
Yeah, it is. Because, I don't like getting this in-depth and personal behind our songs and shit on social media because it's just ass.
No, you want people to... Sorry, I'm yawning. You want people to look... Like, it's got to be looked for. Like, you don't want to blow that stuff up out there. Otherwise, you just seem like a fucking prick.
Yeah.
But, no, it's a good platform for that stuff. And the amount of depth that we can go into there is good.
Yeah, it's a great thing. So cool platform, allows us to do this. So yeah, that's essentially our weekly Wednesday stream and podcast episode recording. So next week we'll talk about something else, but we're trying to do podcasts every month. This will be on our May release, and it will not be this Saturday, but we're hopefully going to come out on the 25th. We're going to get it chopped up, set up with our logo, our Backline podcast logo. It'll be up on YouTube, and then our Substack, we'll put it everywhere else. So thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Trey.
This is Tristan.
This is the Backline podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Backline podcast.